Hey, this is Jordan from Jersey, and this is what I thought of the comics I read the week of January 20th, 2010. The first comic of this week was mildly disappointing. Let me preface that. Amazing Spider-Man 618, the Mysterio issue. And as you may or may not be able to tell from the cover, the art is by the awesome Marcos Martin. I love what the Spidey Brain Trust has been doing art-wise recently with a lot of really classic styles of art, whether it be Marcos Martin or what we had last week with Javier Pulido, and if I'm pronouncing that or anything wrong, sorry, but really awesome art. And this issue, art-wise, does not disappoint at all. Not only is the art itself great, but the layouts, the graphic design elements that Martin has done are really, really cool. Like in almost every page, you'd find something that was like, oh wow, that's just cool, that idea, or that's cool, that repeating pattern, or that's cool. Just all kinds of different things. So the art was great. The story, had Silvermane in it. You don't get much lamer in Spider-Man villains than Silvermane. I'd rather see Stiltman, or even Lady Stiltman at this point. Hammerhead's okay, and Mysterio is in it for like a panel, I think, maybe two. And he's got a little bit of a redesign, by the way, which I kind of like. Not too big of a redesign, just slight. Um, but in this one kind of splash page, I thought, oh, that was kind of cool looking. We'll have to see where it ends up. This is not a self-contained story, so it's going to keep going. Story was kind of, though. It ties in with some stuff earlier in Brand New Day with the Magia crime family, and I don't know. Art was great, though, so props on the art. So next up, we have another issue that I was mildly disappointed in, and that was Cowboy Ninja Viking issue 3. Now, I bought and read the first two issues together, which I think helped. I think this is going to be a book that's going to be much better read in trade, or at least all the floppies at one point. And that's because the main character he has multiple personalities, and I think something that bleeds over into the story is that it's very manic, and especially with this issue, it's kind of hard to follow what was going on at certain points. Um, like there was a couple subplots. I got about one of them that I thought I understood pretty well, and the others I was like, well, where are we again? Where are we now? Who's this character? And don't get me wrong, some of the new characters are great. I think they're bringing them in a little too fast. We were introduced to at least two new characters this time, two new triplet characters, which means there'll be more. That's a lot of characters, and they're very cool. The dialogue I thought was hilarious in very certain spots. But it was also very hard to follow what was going on in some of the subplots. Part of that could be because of the art, and this issue, once again, three colors, black, white, and green this time. The first two issues were blue and pink, respectively, I believe, or the other way around. The art style makes it very easy to distinguish a couple of the characters, and others not so much. I really like the first two issues. I like the dialogue in this third issue. Hopefully by the time this whole thing, the first arc or whatever, wraps up, I can go back and reread it and give it a solid endorsement of readability. At this point, it really depends. Alright, so now we've had one, a two, and let's make it a hat trick of titles that I was kind of disappointed in. With Deadpool, Merc with a Mouth, issue 7 with the fold-out train spotting cover. So let's start out with the good. We're introduced to alternate dimension Deadpools, which is kind of cool, and one of them's a chick, which sounds a lot better than it was because she was drawn by Rob Liefeld. So that kind of ruined all of that. If you liked the photoshopped art style, and this issue flips around between different art styles as he goes to different universes. If you liked the kind of photoshopped art over real photos art from Deadpool 900, in the issue where the part of the issue where he has to go kill one of his fans, kill his readers to finally get out of the book so he can finally die. That makes a reappearance here. So you've got that art, you've got some Liefeld art, some other art. It was kind of manic again, just like Cowboy Ninja Viking 3. I mean, I could follow what was going on in this one, but I didn't care so much. It was just kind of he went to one universe, then goes to another, then he goes to another, and then he's back where he started. No, Next up, we have Realm of Kings and Humans, issue 3 of 5. Awesome cover there. I like that. And as normal, this series continues to be the political intrigue book of every month. So they think they found Black Bolt out in the void. They go to find him. Not sure I was entirely pleased with how that twist, quote unquote, was resolved. You be the judge. I won't spoil it, but I kind of felt like I'd seen that before in other places. And the political intrigue on the planets keeps going on. Loved it. I thought it was great. No spoilers, but yeah, they've been trusting Maximus for way longer than they should have. I'm just putting that out there. I could have told you that 4 issues ago, even though this is issue 3, because I could have told you in the last miniseries and stuff. But yeah, they shouldn't have trusted him this long. Just saying. So even though The Amazing Spider-Man was kind of this week, especially story-wise, art was great. Spider-Man 1602, issue 4 of 5, with the cool lizard fighting Spider-Man cover there, was very awesome. I'm really kind of surprised how much I liked this miniseries, because, quite frankly, 1602 has really degraded in quality since the beginning. But this one, while nowhere near as good as the original 1602, which was just spectacular, if you haven't read it, go out and check that out, because it's really nifty, and self-contained, which is, hey, awesome. I really like what they're doing with the series. I love they've finally revealed the design of Doc Ock. Not that he'd be called that in this universe, but Baron Octavius. And, oh my gosh, creepy, awesome. Also love the new Green Goblin design. We knew what Norman Osborn looked like, but now we see what the Goblin looks like, and kind of cool. Kind of like it. Vaguely man-batish, I guess you could say. Or if you want to go the Marvel route, kind of vermin with wings, but whatever. And the lizard design is awesome as well. And the story, it's working pretty well. So I'm interested to see how they wrap that up next month. Thunderbolts, issue 140, with another awesome Francesco Mattina, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, cover. His covers have been month after month after month awesome. Every review I have read of these or heard of these books mentions them, and it's certainly justified, because every month I can tell that this is Thunderbolts just based on the cover. The logo helps, but the art style, just by itself, I can tell that is Thunderbolts. That is a book I like. It looks awesome. It looks dark. It looks kind of muddy, which follows over into the art of the book. It's kind of a dark and muddy feel, but in a good way. Not like, this is disgusting to read, but it's cool. This wraps up their fight with the Agents of Atlas, a team I know almost nothing about, although they do a very good job of introducing them in these 2 issues, and has a twist that I thought at the end was kind of telegraphed on 2 different fronts. I only caught on to one of them, and I didn't really get what they were telegraphing quite until the end, although I wish they had left out the telegraphing on the end of the Agents of Atlas and their conversation. If you've read the issue, you know what I'm talking about. But overall, kind of a shocker ending. Interested to see where this shows up, or ends up, especially coming into Siege. And speaking of Siege, our final title of the day is Dark Avengers, issue 13, the Siege tie-in. And who do you think this issue is about? So in the Dark Avengers, well, it would be the Sentry. It's true. We know who Norman Osborn's secret weapon is now. Yay? I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed by that, although the first panel where you really get to see the character, and I won't spoil it for you if it hasn't been spoiled, but when you first get to see the character, I thought that panel specifically looked awesome, and all the ones after that were kind of meh. But yes, this is a Sentry-specific issue. Kind of retells the origin of the Sentry, which is good, because I didn't ever read the original Sentry miniseries, which I've heard is very good. And I'm not terribly familiar with the character, but so it worked for me. I know a lot of people who have read the other ones were kind of like, another retelling, we don't care. But if you haven't read any of those versions of his origin story, it worked. It was a decent enough issue. I'm ready to get back to the main Siege, though, and I'm ready for this to actually tie into Siege in a big way, as opposed to this, where the only way it ties into Siege is the fact that it's got this purple banner here on the corner. Whatever. Well, that's it for the comics I read the week of January 20th, 2010. Have a great week. See you next week with some new comics. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/JordanFromNJ, and subscribe and leave comments here and tweet me. Sounds weird. Have a good week. Yay!